Hiya, it's Ali here. I'm jumping on to do a video with my beautiful new collection from Funky Fossil. It's by Art Journal Love and it is a fantastic little collection. What I'll do is I'll introduce you to the stamps first, and this first little stamp collection, stamp set should I say, I'm just going to grab this, is this beautiful faces. I absolutely love this, absolutely love it. It's fantastic, it's right up my alley. I absolutely love working with figures and faces and making things with those. So this one is, you've got three faces here of different orientations. You've got one where she's got a little sort of hair up at the side. You've got one where she's got sort of mid-length hair, and one where she has a longer hair. And then you've got three sentiments in this one: create your own tribe, do what is good for your soul, and be a lovely human. So this one I can see me actually working with quite a bit. I have made something which I will show you shortly, but I want to do something today as well. So that's the first stamp set, and that one is called Soulful. The second one is called It's Okay. And that's got some fantastic sentiments on it. These are really brilliant. They're very uplifting, and they are very big. If you look at in comparison to my hand, they are huge sentiments. So you can actually add them on, you know, as a focal point on any piece of artwork. Be it just a card that you're sending to somebody through the post to sort of lift them up or make them feel a bit better, or a piece of mixed media art, anything that you do at all, be brilliant. So I'll just go through the sentiments. You've got embrace the glorious mess you are. You've got believe. You've got you are stronger than you think. That's one of the ones that I've used previously. You do you, never give up, be amazing today. Embrace every day. It's okay to stumble. Be kind to yourself and you'll never regret being brave. I think they're really poignant sentiments, and I really do. I love them. And I think they're going to get an awful lot of use in the future. So you'll see a lot of those in some future videos. I've got a little one here. I think this is an A6. And it's a sort of jumble of hearts. It's called Heartfelt, and they've got kind of like a newsprint, if you like, in the centre of the hearts. And again, that's an amazing background. It's a substantial stamp. It's the size of my hand, so you're going to get a really good sized background to make a project with. I'm just going to pop that in there. And then with this set, you have got a couple of stencils to go alongside. I haven't got a black piece of card, I don't. Yes, I have. Right, so this one is the hearts. I love this as well. This I love because I use it in cooperation with the heart stamp. And this one is a fantastic one as well. It's I can't remember what it's called, but it's sort of like circles with horizontal. But this one has also got the outside of it as well. So the way it's been cut, there we go. The way it's been cut, you can use the inner and the outer as well. So that is a really good stencil. I love that, and again, that's another one that I'm going to be using probably very regularly in my work in the future. So those are by Art Journal Love, and if you remember, the last release with Art Journal Love brought out the journal marks, which were these, which I've used in quite a lot of projects. And let's pop this out. The Alpha Jumble, which is this one, which is the 6, again a really good size stamp, so that's the Alpha Jumble. And then there are the marker lines, again another fantastic background. You know, you can use this, it's a solid lines, so you can use, you know, paints, splatters, watercolors, and, you know, use it as making up a funky background as well. So again, there'll be projects that I'll be using in my videos in the future. As I say, I haven't done some videos for a little while for one thing and another, so I'll be getting back into that now. What I'll do, I'll show you a card that I have made recently with the art journal I love. And it was what I was saying, this one here I've made recently, and I used this one where she has sort of like the mid-length hair, and I used the stencil in the background where I've used the pink, and what I've done is I've extended her to have her looking like she's wearing a dress. As I say, I used the gorgeous You Are Stronger Than You Think sentiment, and then all I've done is in my stash I had a couple of butterflies that were just knocking about, and I've just chosen to turn them into wings. I think that's turned out really rather well. So that's the first one that I've made. So what I've done also for today's video is I have used some, I've sort of cut out a load of blooms and flowers from this die set from Funky Fossil called Doodle Blooms, and it's got 17 dies in there. So you've got some fantastic flowers and leaves, you know, little flower heads, etc. And I've just cut a load of those out, and I've actually cut those out of the Shine Bright. So I've done some using the Shine Bright paper pad, which is this one, which is also going to be released or will have been released by the time you see this video. So I've just picked a couple of those different designs. I'll take you on more of a journey through that on another project. And I've also done a couple of watercolour card, where I've used watercolour card to cut them out of if I decided to sort of use my own colours. So I have a pile there. I'm just going to plonk them down there. Okay, and I'm going to get on with it now because I've been chatting for ages. So I'm going to pop my lovely lady in the centre of this is an 8x8 piece of watercolour card. So I'm going to use my stamping platform, because obviously when you're using a watercolour card you need to kind of sometimes do it a few times because of the texture of the watercolour card. So let's get that done. And I'm using VersaFine ink because I am going to be watercolouring. So I'm just stamping that up. Sorry for the glare here, it's just because I've got an overhead light and it's glaring on the top of the platform. Right, so I'm going to pop that down, and then let's see how that comes out. Sometimes it comes out okay depending on how hard you press down, and also it also depends on the watercolour card. Sometimes it's got more texture on than other times, but that needs just one more go, I think. Better to have it looking crisper than it is to have it looking unfinished. So there we go. So I'm using an 8x8 because I kind of want to make a bit of a canvas, if you will. I do have a canvas, but I want that for another project, and I've ordered some more canvases. It's just week coming up to Christmas whilst I'm doing this video, because obviously I do videos well in advance of you seeing them. I'm still waiting for those to be delivered. So that is that stamped out. Okay, I'll give that a little clean up. Pop it back on its carrier sheet. Okay. Right, so that's that printed out nicely. So we can move on to our next bit. So what I'm going to do is I've just grabbed a pencil because I'm going to extend her again, just to make her look like she's got some clothing on and she just doesn't look like a head in midair. So I'm just going to extend just the shoulders. I'll just bring it down like so. I'm not making anything complicated because I can't do complicated. I'm probably going to do a double one there, and then I'll do at the very end is I'll use a waterproof marker just to sort of fill that in. So I'm now going to do a little bit of colouring. I'm using my Caran d'Ache Neo colours, so I shall just nip and get some water. Bear with me one moment. Okay, so I've just gone and popped and got some water because I forgot to get that beforehand as usual. So all I'm going to do now is just colour her in. There's no technicality with this. I'm just going to put some colour on her basically, and then I can get on. So I'm using, if you do have the Caran d'Ache, I'm using the peach colour. I'm just putting a little bit of colour down first. Like so. So I try not to worry too much about when I'm watercolouring, because I'm not, I'm not an absolutely brilliant watercolourist, so I just like it to look loose and like she's got depth and shade and what have you. So I just do bits. So I've used the peach and I've just popped a bit of colour on there. Okay, let's pop this to one side. I'm just going to dry that off. Bear with me one second. Okay, so I've just dried that off, and what I'm going to do, because obviously with watercolour you need to build the layers up, so you can only do that obviously each time a layer is dried. So for quickness and speed, obviously I'm just using the heat tool. Normally if I'm doing it sort of not on camera, I usually let it dry, because I do find it drying naturally is it looks a bit nicer. So I'm just going to dry that second layer off, bear with. Okay, so that's a second layer. I'll just pop that up so you can start to see where I'm bringing in little bits of shade and showing where the light is on her neck and her face. Again, as I said, don't overthink it too much. I just do what I can. And then I'm just going to pop in, again for those who do have the Caran d'Ache, I'm just using the rose pink. I'm just going to introduce some sort of blush onto her cheek. It's not brilliant, it's not sort of realistic, if you like, not that it's not brilliant, it's not realistic. I'm not looking for realism, I'm just looking for you know, depth and shade. So I've just given her a little bit of a rosy cheek there. Okay, so now I'm just going to dry that off again, bear with me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just grabbing some watercolour pencils, because I'm going to get a deep pink and I'm going to put a little bit of colour on the edges, on the outside edges of her lips here, like so, and then I can just grab the watercolour and just sort of blend it, but not where it's a solid, it's not solid, so you've got the deepness on the outside and the lightness on the inside. With a blue pen, I'm just going to give her some blue eyes, and then I'll just pop a little bit of water on just to intensify that blue. And I'll get a light blue, I think, and I'll just give her some I'll give her some blue eyeliner here. And again, just to intensify that little bit, I'm going to pop. So she looks like she's got a little bit of makeup on. I'm just going to go down here and blend that out just a tiny bit more. So that's the face. I think that is enough there. Goes out of the way. And then with her hair, I'm going to do I'm not too worried as such about the hair, because a lot of it will be covered with the flowers that I've cut out, because I want to do I want to make her sort of inside these flowers, but I want to show that there was perhaps colour on her hair beforehand and not just doing it onto not looking like it's coloured, if that makes sense. Okay. And then for her dress, let's pick a colour. So I've got lots of different colours here for the blooms. So I'm going to pick some kind of colour that is within these. Okay. So let's do a light pink. So I'm going to colour her dress. Just going with a very light pink to start with, like so. And then just okay, and it's slightly darker where you would imagine it to be slightly darker, so on the side and under here. Okay, I just think that out, and then again like so. I'm just going to deepen that with, again, I've used the rose there, I'm going to deepen it with the purple. To add the depth in. So I'm just going to drop the colour in, let it go where it wants to. Just give it a little bit more fluidity. I'm going to do the same here. I'm just going to drop some water like so. I'm not worried about all these splatters, because I want to put some splatters anyway. So just dropping those in. I'll take the splatters just off her face and her neck, but the rest can stay. I'll just let that dry as it will, just for a minute. You can see there, so that'll be dry. That's just drying now. Okay, so I'll pop those to one side. So I'm not going to do any more colouring necessarily on this, but if you wanted to, obviously, you can do as much or as little as you wish to. I'm going to just dry this off, so bear with me 1 second, please. Okay, so that's nice and dry now. So what I'm going to do is I am going to add the sort of extended bit. So I'm using a Sharpie because obviously it's permanent and waterproof. So I use the thicker end and I'm just going to bring it round. I'm not too worried about it being absolutely straight, because the whole thing of this is you want it looking fluid. Okay, so with the girl, I'm going to put some wings on her again. So I'm going to, let's have a look. Let's give her some big ones. So it's going to be coming from behind her. So they're going to be, so I've picked this large wing within the stencil and I'm going to pop that on, and obviously I'm going to ignore this bit and I'm going to extend the wing out like so. And then at the other side, so I'm just going to zoom across, let's bring that down a little bit. And then I'm going to do exactly the same. So just bring it down to the start of her shoulder, like so. And then you can, if you want to, let's see what it looks like. It may look pants. So you've got like the bottom of the wing. So we've got the bottom of the wing there, so let's tip that around there, so close, there we go. And if you wanted to, you could just pop a little bit in the middle there, just to kind of finish it off and create where it's not a massive space. So I'm going to do that. Can you see there? And then I'm going to now do exactly the same thing. I'm going to use my Sharpie and I'm just going to go around, not worrying too much about whether I necessarily go exactly on the line, because if I was to worry about that, it wouldn't look great, because I'd be concentrating too hard, and that's not what art's all about. Art is about just having a go and having a play, and I'm just wondering about whether to put a little bit behind there as well, which I think would look quite good. Let's have a see. No, we'll leave it at that, because I think that's enough for now. So I'm going to grab my eraser and I'm just going to erase the lines, the pencil lines. Okay, and let's think of a colour. Let's think. I'm going to have blue wings. Have we had blue wings? Or silver or grey. Right, so I need to make a decision, don't I? Let's have a go with, we'll do a very light grey first. So I'll just grab my water over this side again. So let's just bring in a light colour. Okay. So they look a little bit silver / grey, if you like. There we go. Okay, now I'm just going to grab that darker grey. Just pop that in there. That darker grey isn't really. Let's try it this way. So I'm basically just scribbling it to the side and then picking it up with my brush. Okay, so that's working a bit more. So I'm just going to deepen the bottom of the hearts. Just putting a little bit of shadow. Again, like I say, I'm seriously not thinking about how I'm doing the depth, how I'm doing the shading. I'm just plonking it on. Really just plonking it on. Okay. And what we can do is we can decorate the wings a little bit later on with maybe a little bit of mark making. So that is our wings. I'm just going to completely dry that off. So bear with me 1 second. Okay, so that's nice and dry now. So this is what we've got so far. Our beautiful little girl, or angel, should I say. So then what I'm going to do is I am going to grab some of my blooms that I have created, and I just want to add them to the canvas around her hair. That was the idea anyway. Whether it comes out how I wanted it to, let's hope so. So these are the main blooms. Orange is not necessarily the... So let's just have a play here. I'm going to pop some blue. Right, so I'm just going to give the blooms a little bit of an edgy. So using some Tombow glue because it sticks down pretty well, I'm just going to pop my first piece on. Okay, and I'll pop in a little one in the middle. So I'm going to cut this in half because it's going to sit underneath, so let's not block her face out. So I'm going to sit underneath there. Then again, the ones that I pop in half is because I can literally just pop them behind and they still look like they're building up. That one I can do as a whole. So that's the blue. I'm going to pop that in there. Just lift those leaves up. Okay. So what I'll do with this one is I'm going to make it the pinky colour that we've got on her dress. I was saying I'd done some in watercolour. So I've done some in watercolour card, which means I can add whatever colour I want to the flower. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same with this large one. So I pop some of the lighter colour on first. Like so. And then drop the darker pink in. Just let that dry. It'll only take a minute or two to let that dry at the side there. So I'm going to cover her face with something just to mask it off, because I don't want to be splatting paint in her face. So I'm going to pop that there like so. And then with these sticks, I'm just going to splat and splat some of the pink. And then I'm also going to get my usual gold, which is the Kuretake gold. I use the red gold quite a lot because it's quite a nice deep gold. I'm just going to pop some of that on. I'm going to put some more flowers on in a minute. I just wanted to add some splats while these flowers are drying here. Right, so pop that to one side. And I'm just going to dry this off, so bear with me a second. Okay, so I've just dried her off there. These are just still drying at the moment, the side. Just going to grab another half flower. I want to start trying to balance this up now. So that it's looking like a little more balanced. That's the word I'm looking for. It's just that it's not then a sort of flowers and it's just sat. I'm going to lift these leaves up here. Really, it's just a case of you finding what you like, how you like it looking. Do I introduce orange? Yeah, why not? So I'll have a bit of orange on this side here. I'll just pop that in there just for something, a different pop. So I'm going to pop in a little bit of this for interest down here. And then I'm going to grab the pink one to do exactly the same up at the other side, just as I said, to try and balance it out a little bit. Okay, now I want to have a look at it and then just decide. I'll put up a leaf there. So I'll pop that in there. So it's just your design then after that, how you want it to start looking. And obviously, as I say, you've got to sort of look and consider the balance of it. So I'm just going to pop these little bits out here. I want to pop in some more white bits. Oopsie daisy. and pop you down there. So if you can see, we're just sort of trying to balance out the floral elements. Now then, I'm going to have a look at what I have in terms of stickies. So I do have some of these, which has come with this release, but I want to try and find if I have any pink ones. So bear with me 1 second. Oh no, I have no pink there. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab some pink. Sorry about the noise. See if I can find some pink gems. These too much. That costs me too much. No pink ones in there. Let's go with the clear ones then. So I'm just going to grab some clear gems and pop them in the centre of a couple of the flowers, like so. Okay, you pull that up, pop that in the centre, and pop this one in the centre of that one. Right, okie dokie. So I'm going to ignore these. I'm not going to bother with them because I quite like what I've got up here. So I'm going to pick a sentiment. Do what is good for your soul. I like that. So I am going to use these Funky Fossil ones. These are the hearts. These were Funky Fossil ones as well. But what I'm going to do with the hearts is I'm going to pop them, go in across her jumper or dress, whatever we've decided that it is. So it'll be kind of like a sweetheart neckline for her dress. Okay. Let's just pop that back up again. So we've got a little neckline there on her dress. So I'll pop those away. Then I'm going to add the sentiment. So I'm going to need to use the platform because it is a textured background. So let's just pop this across here. So do what is good for your soul. I'm going to pop that up there. Okay. I can unflatten these or sort of raise them up again in a minute. So I just don't want at the end of all that for the sentiment to come out where it would need to be double stamped because of the texture. And then of course when you don't use a stamping platform you can't double stamp it. Okay, there we go. So I am going to double stamp that just to make that a lot more crisper and because I can. So that bit there, the do what, I just need it to be a little more crisp. crisp. There we go. So do what is good for your soul. Lovely sentiment. Right, now then I'm going to give that a clean. Pop it away. And then I'm going to back this now. Now what you can do, as I said, do have a canvas, because I was going to make it into a canvas. You can do it straight onto a canvas, like so, but this canvas I want for another project. But what I will do with that actually is I will just come over to the other side of my craft room to cut some black cord, because I'm going to do that particular piece of card is 8x8, so I'm going to do 8.5 by 8.5. Let's have a look. So I'm going to just cut it to size, so bear with me one moment. Okay, so I've been and done a bit of cutting, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the main of the canvas onto some black card. Okay, so I'm just going to grab my glue. Just going to grab my glue, and I'm using the collage because I can move that around if I need to, if I just don't position it 100% in the centre of the card. Looks like I'm running out of glue. It's always the same when you do a video. Everything that can kind of go wrong or run out does. Okay, so I want to pop this down onto the black card, and I want to centralise it like so. And the beauty of using the collage is anything that comes out the side, you can squish it with your fingers and it will disappear. I'm just going to rub that little bit of pencil mark out there. Okay, so that's got the canvas to the black, and then just to give that some rigidity, I'm going to adhere that to a piece of grey board. So all I'm going to do that is just make sure, do it the other way around. It's a daisy. Right, so I'm going to put some double-sided tape onto this. Okay. So I'm going to double-sided tape the grey board. And all this is doing is just giving the rigidity to the to this. Because obviously it's too big to make it into a card as such. Okay, so just cut that to size. I'm just going to pop a little bit in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to take this off. Like so. I'm going to check before I put it down that it's, because it's different size on each side. Do I just take those off? Right, now then, so I'm going to try and find the straightest edge. I think it's on, so is this the... Right, so I'm going to go right into that corner with the thing with the paper, and then down, and then let it drop onto the grey board so that it's like so. Okay, and then all I need to do is cut along the bottom where the overhang is, where the excess is. Obviously I'm cutting through a bit of the double-sided sticky tape, so it's sticking to the scissors. I did more or less get the measurement right when I was cutting it out on the trimmer, so I'm not too worried. And then if you've got any excess, just trim it away there. There we go. Right, so I'm going to call that done because we've been here quite a little while. I'm quite happy with that. It was something like what I was hoping, well, it's very much like what I was hoping that I was going to achieve when I looked at the stamp sets and thought about what I was going to do. So a bit of a closer look, and you can see, and that has literally come from this little stamp here. Just this little stamp here, so this one, and the sentiment, do what is good for your soul, and we've created a huge canvas. The only thing I'm going to do just to finish, very lightly, is I'm going to grab pink, and I'm going to use this circle stencil, and I'm just gently going to add a little bit. There we go. I think it just needed a little bit of something else, so I've just added, I'm going to pop some in here in between the wing and the same here. There we go, that's better, I like that now. So I've just added the it's like chevrons within the circles, isn't it, if you like. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with her. I may do, for a last thing, just add a little bit of sparkle to her beautiful cheeks. I'm using a Gossip sparkle pen, absolutely my favourite pen. It's the best sparkle pen that I've ever found, and I have tried quite a few. So that's the Stamps by Me Gossip pens. So you can see it, beautiful sparkle, and it just goes on and on and on, and all you need to do is just give it a little bit of a squeeze every now and again, and it just goes and goes and goes. There we go. How beautiful is that? And the thing is you're not using a spray, you're actually directing this sparkle exactly where you want it to go. So there you go, that's the project for today. I hope you've enjoyed that, and I'm going to be playing some more and doing some more projects with these stamps, with this stamp set, this collection, which, don't forget, is called, the stamp set itself here is called Soulful, which is the beautiful girl. It's okay is the sentiments that you can make absolutely loads of projects with. The Heartfelt A6 heart stamp set. Okay, then you've got two fabulous stencils here, the circles and the solid hearts, which I've used to make the wings. So you don't look at it as if, right, that's all you're going to get out of it is the hearts. Look at it just outside the box a little bit. And of course, with that circle stencil, you do get its outside, so you've got the masking of it as well. Okay, so I'm definitely going to get going and hopefully see you really soon with another project using this collection. So take care and see you soon. Bye.